Yep, okay, so 3-2, I don't know, does this mean we go back to the companionless version? I don't know, maybe I want to stick around with Obosh a little longer. I mean, obviously Obosh had a lot of good things going for it, just being an extra creature. So it's fairly consistent in that regard. So, yeah, and I mean, like, those 2 games we lost, the hand seemed super funky. Like, I don't know that any hand under the sun would have really done much better if you think about it. I mean, like, with the companionless version, I mean, like, we've certainly gotten mana flooded against that, like, Mardu deck. We've definitely gotten flooded similarly and just not drawn much with the companionless version. I don't know if, like, Shatter Skull Smashing would have, like, made a difference, but, we've definitely been there. Definitely against Titan, I can't say that companionless would have made that big of a difference. The Obosh was nice in both games and definitely gave us the potential to end the game in short order, but of course it can't overcome the Titan Rip ability if they're one of the lucky Titan players as opposed to the unlucky ones. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just I feel like the companionless versions might have the potential to be like the top of the top tier, But especially if you play them right, if you got to play them, they're very tricky though because they don't have like the raw power of Obosh to bail you out of tricky situations. So like, but they have a lot of tools, so it's like, should I go back to them? We'll see. But I mean, suffice it to say, definitely, I mean, Obosh has consistency going for it. I mean, the fact that you always have a 3/5 card that doubles your damage, but they don't necessarily always have a card like that is definitely a point of consistency in your favor. Pyrite Spellbombs never came up, but like there is a good chunk of decks that play pro-red creatures. I mean, Hammer Time, it's called Heliod, Burn, of course, out of the sideboard. There's a lot of cards. So, and of course Shattering Spree. Yeah, that came in very clutch against Tron. It literally kind of did what we wanted it to do. It actually is very important in the Amulet Titan matchup, but of course, they happen to not draw any, which I guess is okay because if they don't draw, because like the amulets are a big problem. So like if they never draw them, I guess it ends up evening out. But the fact that they did not get an amulet in Game 3 was kind of important for us to have a better chance. And I think if we would have had Shattering Spree in Game 2, actually, like in our opening hand, there's a decent chance we could have had. Well, we would have had a better chance to win for sure. We may have needed to rip another Blood Moon eventually, but definitely Shattering Spree can help make that happen. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'm going to go back to Companionless or not, but this is kind of how I'm pretty satisfied with this build as far as an Obosh build. I know the Oblivion Stone seemed janky, but I think they just cover a lot of bases and they just do a lot of what you like. You only have 2 more slots to work with in the sideboard after you have to use one for Obosh, and I just feel like not many other cards can do as much as Oblivion Stone do with those last 2 slots. We didn't really see it come up this league, but it was clutch in the last league I played where I got 4-1. It really helped against Death Shadow, and I think it helped against, well, it may have helped against something else. It helps against taxes too, just more artifact hate of sorts. I think the Pyrite Spellbombs are pretty good. You also kind of want to have 8 cards total that can replace Flame Slash and Blood Moon, because like against that Blue Moon deck that we faced in Game 1, especially if they're not playing artifacts, then you want to be able to replace Blood Moon with, like, say, Relic, and you want to be able to replace Flame Slash with, like, say, Pyrite Spellbomb, just because both of those cards are fairly dead in the matchup. So, I don't know, just something to think about. The rest of the cards are basically always live. So, whenever possible, I like to build my sideboard so that I have enough cards so that I can have like all live cards in some matchups where I otherwise might not. But yeah, I mean, I like Pyrite Spellbomb, just like I said. It's just a good. It's just very versatile, very flexible. Good against Pro Red, and also just kind of like another burn spell. Sometimes you just want extra burn spells, like against humans. It's nice because it's great against Uriok Champion, but it's also just like it can also just help you control the board more. Anyway, much more I think I can say about the Obosh variants for now. We'll see if we go back to Companionless or if we keep giving the Obosh versions a spin. But I think you know, sometimes you get mana flooded, but you do, one of your lands does actually ironically help mitigate mana flood. You can pitch like extra lands to draw more cards, but I do like having 24 lands because you can curve out to Obosh much more comfortably, like we saw. Like curving out to Obosh was not like the issue we were having. So I think 24, yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, but I guess from the very beginning, you know, like when we used to be playing like Forgotten Cave, 16 Mountains, and like this used to be Light Up the Stage, and we used to have decks that were almost identical. But I think Valakut Awakening might be better. I'm definitely inclined to think Valakut Awakening is better than Light Up the Stage, because here's the thing about Light Up the Stage, is a lot of times you're just playing Light Up the Stage to dig for more lands. So in a way, why not just play more lands? Now, of course, it also can get you gas, so it's, you know, Light Up the Stage can be nice in that it gets you gas and lands, but here's the thing about the gas, though, that Light Up the Stage gets you. I mean, how many times do you rip, like, a Lava Dart or a Firebolt or a Lightning Bolt or whatever it is, and you don't have a good target for it? Like, in those cases, did you really gain card advantage? I mean, you nicked your opponent's life total a little bit. Sometimes you just let them go to exile if they're particularly not helpful and you think that you can use your mana more efficiently. But, like, every time that you reveal a card, or like what if you know, how many times do you reveal like a Blood Moon and you don't have enough mana next turn to cast it, or it's not a matchup where Blood Moon's good against? Well, of course, you did get it out of the way in that case, I guess, you know. But of course, with Valakut Awakening, you could pitch it later and draw a card. My point is that Light Up the Stage is definitely a good card, but I don't think it's always necessarily the card advantage beast that we want it to be. For sure, it is a good card, no doubt about it. And, you know, if I could squeeze it in somehow, I probably would, but at the same time, it can also be clunky when it's 3 mana, and you don't have a way to turn on Spectacle, so I'm inclined to think that the hidden tech that we never really saw before, but was always there in front of us, was maybe to replace Light Up the Stage with Valakut Awakening. Anyway, we'll see how this goes, but I definitely feel fairly comfortable with how this build is. Alright. Definitely like and subscribe if you like this content. Till next time.